about the Baron coming through.
Baron or Vox here. So does Echo Fox play Baron though? Are they going to pick up this Baron here, or are they just going to first pick an Idris?
Yeah, looks like it is going to be Super Shot playing for Echo Fox once again as well. So if they first pick Jewel, that would be a very brave lock-in. It is going to be the Baron.
Yes, the Baron gets picked up finally. So far, liking it, chat. That means Nova now can pick Idris into this. But I think they'll probably secure Arden first, potentially, because Arden Idris is extremely good into Baron, given that Lyra's off the board. Or they can just pick Idris right now, because Echo Fox will ban Idris if they don't pick it up. So let's see what Mr. Truth decides here with his team.
I would actually kind of like to see Nova pick up their captain and then ban another captain away. That's 4 captains taken off the board if they do that, and it's going to severely limit what Echo Fox will be able to play.
They can also pick Baptiste. Oh, actually, Catherine was just picked here. Wow, Catherine into Baron.
Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. I have just been informed by production that it is, in fact, Owen coming in instead of Yazaru here.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I'm not 100% sure who's carry and who's jungle. I'd assume Super Shot will be jungle since he's the sub, but I do not know on that one. We'll find out as we head onto the game. But Catherine going to be the lock-in, and now Nova looking towards their first ban.
Yeah, so that's interesting, picking Catherine. I don't think I've seen Nova play Catherine. So now we have like a lot of strong options open, like Idris, we have Vox open, we have Kestrel. All these really strong carries that Truth can play are all open here. So does Echo Fox now ban a jungle they don't want to deal with, or did they ban Idris that, you know, is a really good counter into Baron here?
I think Idris
Ooh,
would
they're
be
going to take away Vox instead.
Yep, going to take away the Vox, but again, I really like what Nova's done here by the captain pool is so severely limited. Arden is still available, but obviously Nova is perfectly fine with Arden being picked up because of the way that they've drafted this, and it's kind of forcing Echo Fox onto the Arden.
Yeah, and Idris is good here because they took Catherine, and Catherine is the hard counter into Idris. So picking Catherine, banning Lance means now Idris is kind of free to kind of jump in there and wreak havoc on Mr. Baron there. So now they have, I think they'll probably go with Arden here. Oh, Finn. They're going to go with Finn instead. And potentially, if Super Shot is playing, I don't know what jungler he plays in jungle, but Samuel would be good, Sky would be good because it is a Catherine and you have Finn to protect you. So let's see what they decide here. But I think between the two, oh, they're going to go with Scarf, and now Nova can pick either Samuel or Sky.
And once again, another Scarf pick coming on through. It's definitely increasing in popularity over the last couple of weeks. We'll see what Echo Fox are going to be able to do with that one. But over on the side of Nova, they've got to finish out this composition with a jungler of their own. What do you anticipate going into a Scarf here?
I mean, I want to see them go for another assassin type hero, another hero that can jump in and try and just burst along with the Idris.
Third Krull of the week.
Krull,
wow.
yeah. This is
Krull into Finn too. Oof.
People, I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe Krull got a secret buff that no one told me about, but everyone seems to be into this Krull pick right now.
He does have a buff because his ult is on a faster cooldown, so late game with infusion and cooldown items, his ult's up like every 25 seconds or so. So that could mean something, but let's see how they're going to build it. I think they probably go CP Idris here and probably a weapon crew, I assume, which makes sense.
Okay. I mean, we had one Krull pick through the first 3 weeks of Vainglory 8. And now all of a sudden we've got 3 in one day. It's really surprising to see a lot of teams suddenly jumping onto this hero.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, what do you guys think the reasoning is behind this Krull lock-in? What is it that Krull brings that other heroes don't bring to the draft?
Yeah, Krull is good at ganking, especially, you know, pre-level 6. And once he's level 6, he has that boomerang ultimate that you see Lightning T land. If you land the full boomerang onto an enemy, that's like up to almost a 4-second stun. So it's pretty devastating. That person's dead, guaranteed. So Krull does offer that. And plus, he's very sneaky. He hides in bushes and is very fast.
Yep.
So I think that's why they picked Krull here.
A lot of it is also the weakness stacks. You know, Baron is really loves to, obviously has a ton of burst up front, but once you get a few stacks onto him, that second time he uses the jump is not going to be anywhere near as effective.
Yeah, you can shut him down just a little bit. Let us know what you think of the Krull pick and who you're voting for in this game. Hashtag Vainglory8 on Twitter. But without further ado, it's time to head into our final quarterfinal of the day and pass it to our casters.
Thank you very much. It is going to be NRG versus Echo Fox here. Echo Fox with a real big opportunity to gain some points on the board. 2 from this series if they can take it. And then an extra 6 potential tomorrow would ease them out of the challenge battle zone. Echo Fox with this new roster definitely don't want to be facing challengers again.
No, absolutely not. And they've got a really talented roster on the side of their team as well. They can keep themselves in the VGA. I mean, they essentially picked this team up after having already been relegated to the Challenge Battles. And if they went back to the Challenge Battles with this team, I know as an organization they would be devastated. So it's really important for them to get some points on the board here, Dalsy.
And it's been a really unfortunate story for the Echo Fox roster because they haven't actually been able to play with their full strength roster that brought them here into the VG8. Erwin has just come back into the mix, but he is going to be playing jungle rather than the lane. Now, I believe that is meant to be his point here. Super Shot as the sub. Perhaps I'm getting things mixed up in my head, but this is probably Echo Fox's biggest chance this week here. The most consistent chance to take a point. You know, with Erwin back in the roster, this guy was deemed a god back in VIS, and I feel like if they aren't able to at least take a point off Nova, then that's kind of signing the death warrant for the team heading into the challenge battle, because there's some very talented rosters. And Starboy caught out, though. This is a great start. It's going to be first blood over to Super Shot and this Baron. And that's exactly what Echo Fox need to get the ball rolling.
Oh, Echo Fox needed that move. They needed to be able to put pressure on the board straight away here, Dalsy. You are absolutely right. And it's a good way to start things off. Delphi does try and catch out Erwin here. Again, this is a tough thing for Scarf to escape from. The Goop doing some serious work, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Under the turret as well. He's going to run straight into a Finn. If Finn can lock him up, oh, it's easy. Erwin played that so perfectly. The Goop, the Spitfire, all of the slows, and then Slater's rotation. Just nothing that could have came out. We're going to start up these helpful pings from Nova. Already starting a little bit frustrated. And it's going to be Truth rotating down to continue the pressure onto Erwin, but this could just snowball the Scarf towards a earlier late game threat for him. And have to wonder, we've kind of talked about Starboy's Catherine Scoundrel and, you know, his ability to stack up high and competitive, but that's because he plays Catherine like a solo queue player. And against teams that are ready to punish it, that can be a problem.
Absolutely. You know, we saw Starboy previously would just walk into lane, would just go and stun somebody, he'd pick up a stack, he'd stun somebody and pick up a stack, you know, do it over and over again. Doing that in this time round might not be as easy as Echo Fox. I mean, Starboy already just pushing the boat out a little bit. And Echo Fox have got a really good early game lead here. There's two ways of playing a Baron composition. We talked about it earlier when we had Baron from TSM locked in with the Cruel. There was the good mid-game presence to provide that distraction for the Baron. This time you've literally got a full late-game composition from Echo Fox. If this gets past 15 minutes, you feel that there's no way Echo Fox should realistically be able to lose this, Dalsy.
I feel like the only way that Nova can test late game is if they play this as CP Idris. Super Shot under the turret will take a bit of poke. Lone Delphi able to land it. He will just sit around in case Super Shot decides to be too aggressive here, and there it is, a stun comes out of Starboy, but Slater moves up. At this point, Owen can be found at the backs of this Cruel, just punishing this stay in the lane. As long as Echo Fox keep their wits about them, and currently they're doing great damage with this Baron, with this Finn, then this is a great rotational play by Echo Fox to just get this Scarf really rolling.
Tasty Bacon will be happy. Looks like we're going to get potentially a breaking point first. Cruel coming out here of Lone Delphi as he finishes up the heavy steel. And I think Truth will be working towards what we imagine is going to be a CP Idris. He picked up the armor and the Book of Eulogies first. That seems to be the classic start against the weapon power laner for CP Idris. And yes, we will be have that confirmed as Truth picks up the Heavy Prism and the Eclipse Prism here. This gives them some contest in the late game. But again, I'm just of that kind of, I guess, that mindset that if you have a Cruel and an Idris, you've got such a strong mid game if you went on hit Cruel and weapon power Idris that you could try and burst one of those really high priority targets. And his Scarf is super immobile, Dalsy. You could just run your Idris and Cruel at him, get War Treads early on for Starboy, and then blow him up, and then you just sort of deal with the Baron potentially afterwards. So I feel like you're trying to play a late game threat against a double late game threat, and it doesn't quite ring in my books. The only thing that I think could work in the late game is if you get a Cruel engage, Dalsy, and then you follow up with a massive hitting Shatterglass Chakram, which you can see has been finished up now.
I do wonder if teams are a little bit scared of the potentials of double weapon power Scoundrel, because on hit does kind of eat towards the weapon power route. You usually get a breaking point in there. It's a very hybrid build for Cruel when you go it. It's one of the only hybrid builds that it's pretty successful in the meta. There's a couple heroes that can pull it off. Guess Cruel is one of them. Currently a bit of pressure though onto Super Shot. Truth with the Chakram, the Shadow Glass doing work. But here comes Owen into the lane. Starboy down to half HP. Has a fountain. Truth is taking a lot of damage. Does he have his Book of Eulogies? He does, but the healing has been cut down since he's turned range on this Idris, no longer a melee hero. And I have to see if Echo Fox can defend this turret. Great play, company. Great quibble as well. Truth just so much damage. Owen just doing so much work with this Scarf right now.
Yeah, Owen coming back into the Echo Fox roster seems to be a real boon for them. They still retain their Fountain as well, which is so good on that defense, and they're going to push towards this turret. Scarf takes it so quickly with that goop. Idris coming up.
Behind. Here's the Hell's Heart straight into the Baron. He got deleted! Holy moly. They're going to commit to this turret, but a great face tank there by Lone Delphi means that the turret survives, and Lone Delphi will be able to secure the kill on to Owen as well. Great play there from Nova to just instantly react to this hard push. And the Cruel from behind is very hard to deal with.
Huge patience right there from Lone Delphi to do that play as well. He's working towards the breaking point. Almost finished. Nice pull him to Starboy, but they have to clear these minions pretty quickly here.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to. That turret just goes down immediately. Lone Delphi may lose his life, does dive in. Super Shot looking for the kill, is able to secure it. Truth dives forward, has that Shimmer Strike, doesn't use it. That would have been a kill if he went in. Going to be Starboy losing his life. Very surprising. Truth showed great Idris prowess in the games last week for Nova. It was on weapon power though, Ex-Scoundrel. Maybe for some reason on the CP Idris kind of not feeling like he can go full ham like the weapon power enables. Takes a lot of damage. That Spitfire doesn't connect. Super Shot jumps forward, but can't quite find the damage, and gold swings back in favor of Echo Fox. Owen, caught. The Quibble doesn't quite connect. Owen in a bit of trouble here. Going to be watched into Truth. He's lost his life, and Slater not going to attempt to save him as he walks to the shop, picks himself up a Crucible. Has to be careful he doesn't get caught, but it looks like Nova are more interested in the gold miner.
Yeah, they're going to take the easy global gold from Gold Miner here. Lone Delphi actually picks up a Stick Sins, so we could even maybe see him choose to go towards a Sorrow Blade here, which would be thoroughly interesting given that he looked like he was working towards a breaking point. I'd like the Sorrow Blade more than I like the breaking point personally, Dowsey. It provides a bit more burst for this Cruel, and I think burst is the name of the game here that is necessary for Nova to get the initial engage onto a key target and then blow them up following. Super Shot is invested in a reflex block. Interesting to see that Irwin hasn't yet, but he does look like he's working towards second item. Well, it could be anything. He's got the components for Eve of Harvest, but he does also have a crystal bit which could go towards Broken Myth. Ideally, you'd like Scarves to go Broken Myth second, but against this kind of damage from Nova, maybe you're considering the Eve of Harvest.
I have to see where he does go here. I think the Broken Myth on Scarf, definitely just for the ultimate alone, is so good as a re-engaged tool as well. Echo Fox currently in a position where Super Shot has 2 damage items. Slater is showing off his fantastic spinning skills. Has to be careful he doesn't make himself dizzy. In fact, he looks a little bit dizzy as he stands still and regains his balance. Nova just able to move in and steal away these front camps from Erwin. Erwin, though, still maintaining a huge CS lead over Lone Delphi due to the early game where he was just able to hard farm. He even got a level advantage over Lone Delphi, which is pretty huge because Lone Delphi is like a fantastic jungler, often renowned by the community for his fantastic jungle plays, and just hasn't quite... Well, I say he hasn't quite. This roster in Nova is definitely the start of that, but, you know, on Echo Fox previously, perhaps not the roster for him.
I think it's also worth noting that Scarf has just been clearing jungle on rotation, whereas Lone Delphi has been far more interested in trying to make things happen on the map. Spent a lot of time waiting in lane, a lot of time setting up for ganks like this. Every time his backs have been up, Irwin has been going to them and clearing them with their goop and the Spitfire combo, setting things alight. Look at this though, Lone Delphi's patience could pay off again.
Yeah, he goes straight onto Super Shot, jump jets away, has his ultimate available, but they're going to disengage. Finn pulls them in, Quibble goes down, that's going to be Starboy dropped there. He gets taken on out by the side of Nova. The Evo Harvest now for Erwin. He's going to be able to sustain through some of this damage with the Goop as well, just healing him as people stand on top of it. Hell's Heart straight into the Finn, silences him up, but the Fountain comes out nonetheless. Lone Delphi looking for the kill onto Super Shot, but he can't quite get it. Truth on the wrong side of the Halcyon Fold, and Erwin moves in for the kill, and will be able to secure it. This is a great, great play here by Echo Fox.
I actually were a little concerned. Lone Delphi looked like he hesitated when he came out of that top brush that he was setting up for. Team didn't look quite on the same page, and he ended up switching targets. Didn't lead with his ultimate either. One of the best ways to play a Cruel in that situation is to basically lead with your ultimate and then do the work after that. But he didn't lead with his ultimate. He held on to it and then switched targets mid-fight.
Owen gets it. No, but surely Starboy just kills him now. Stun, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. There it is.
Yeah.
Took a little bit longer than I expected. The Evo Harvest did a bit of work.
But they did trade it for the gold mine. As long as they don't lose anything catastrophic from this, should be a small win for them. Also, Lone Delphi, because he chose to go for the Sorrow Blade over the Poison Shiv, doesn't quite have the same level of sustain in these fights, Dalsy. You know, he's going in, he's getting blown up a lot more regularly and quickly than you'd expect a Cruel to do so, because he doesn't have the Poison Shiv to provide that extra element of defense for him. Here comes the Baron ultimate.
Yeah, pushing them back from this turret here. It's still alive. The Chakram does rip through it, but here's Owen, ready to really put the pressure on with his current build. So close to the broken myth. He can taste it. Lone Delphi patiently waiting like he's been doing the entire game, but there it is. Spitfire's landing Goops. That's a lot of damage down onto this Baron. Can he survive? No, he cannot. That's going to be a kill over. Traded. And now Erwin in a great position to just win this fight. Finn gets blocked with his Force to Core. The Quibble though lands onto Starboy. That's a Spitfire connecting to Truth. Slater won't be able to find the kill because Erwin just burns him to death and Starboy will be able to escape.
Well, they didn't get a clean ace, but it's about as good as they could have hoped for. Defended the turret and also cleaned up 2 members. I think Lone Delphi definitely needs some sustain on board here because it doesn't feel like he's lasting long enough in these fights. One of the main things that Cruel needs to achieve when he enters a fight is have the ability to build those weakness stacks and have the ability to churn up the damage reduction and also survive long enough to land the big smite, which gives you the healing and so on and so forth. He's not doing that with just the Sorrow Blade build. When you build the Sorrow Blade build, it's all about getting a huge combination damage, in my opinion, with the Idris that's gone down the Shatterglass route. I really want to see them surprise ultimate, land a Chakram directly on that target, and then Cruel use the Sorrow Blade damage to sort of back that up and sort of end the game. So, or end the fight really. But it's not quite happening. Doesn't really feel like Nova are on the same page with their sort of engagers here, Dalsy.
No, they're not, and this is perhaps where the CP Idris kind of struggles to synergize well with the composition from Nova. Catherine and Cruel want to dive on top of it. Idris perhaps a little bit scared to play that aggressively, especially into a Finn and a Scarf. Idris would much rather just stack off the Finn like he's attempting to do now with the Chakrams, with the auto attacks, the alternate currents there as well. Maybe Nova just waiting out this scaling game. Pool almost catches Lone Delphi. Truth takes a lot of damage from the Baron ultimate. Starboy getting melted. Fountain so late from him will not save his life. Truth very low. I don't think Echo Fox can chase this. They don't have wall treads for themselves. In fact, it's a journey boots I see, I believe, on Slater, so he can run around the fight himself.
Actually, people often think that really important on Finn. I see this a lot on Finns over the War Treads. I think War Treads is really good at kiting, but they're not really needing the ability to kite here, because as soon as Cruel walks into range, Slater, all he's going to be doing is looking for a quibble and a polite company. And the War Treads, whilst good, don't necessarily need the be-all and end-all. All Slater wants to do is be able to get a consistent ability to even potentially move a couple of times in a team fight by landing those basic attacks and have the mobility required as a Finn to sort of alleviate how slow Finn is naturally. So I like this. A lot of Finn players do this. They go the journey boots to give them that extra ability to maneuver in team fights when necessary, because all Finn needs to do is make sure he's on his carry, his ability to using his polite company and using the quibble where necessary. Doesn't necessarily need to be shoveling the team away with those war treads.
Owen looks like a world of difference for the side of Echo Fox. Previously known as Jesus, before he was forced to change his name. Now looking to just carry his team to victory, it seems. They have to be careful. Lone Delphi is lurking. Good. Crucible will block that. Truth very low. He can't afford to re-engage. Starboy gets dropped again. Supershot just kiting this Cruel. And Erwin's going to look for the damage. Spitfire doesn't quite connect with Truth. Lone Delphi gets quibbled down. Erwin's positioning ready for Truth, and he's going to take Truth down. No! He's going to lose his life. No! He Spitfires on the exit of the Shimmer Strike, and that will be the ace. Health regen, keeping Erwin nice and healthy. They're going to secure themselves a Kraken. They're going to secure themselves a turret. Nova just not finding any of their win conditions.
I think Nova lost their win conditions when this got past 10 minutes without there being a lead for Nova. The problem is, you're going against a Baron, a Scarf, and a Finn. 3 incredibly good late game heroes. The early game is often open to weakness and can be susceptible. Nova did not look to exploit the early game hard enough here. This is just post 15 minutes, double late game powerhouse threat with a Finn that can peel for them. This has just got to the point in the game. Nova should have had a commanding lead at this point, and now they don't. It's actually Echo Fox that have got the lead, and that just makes it even better.
I love the fact that Erwin's been able to do all this damage without even using his ultimate yet. Just so much Scarf damage with the Spitfire Goops if you're just connecting them consistently, and Erwin is able to stack up his Broken Myth, engage onto Supershot. Surely this is his death, you would think, but the Fountain comes out, he jumps away, Truth gets into the midst of it, Pool can't quite pull everyone back. Erwin finds the first kill though, can he find a second, trying to kite out Truth, gets the movement speed, he's going for the turret, Spitfires come up from behind, and it's Slater doing the work, but he will lose his life. Spitfire connects, but it's blocked up with a reflex. Erwin just keeping them all at bay. He doesn't want to allow them to backport though. He is going to, Nova, going to catch out Erwin, or at least it's going to be Starboy losing his life. This Kraken is at half health. It's going to secure a second turret here. Vein Crystal turret 1 goes down. Truth and Lone Delphi will be able to make sure it doesn't take another, but what a great push from Echo Fox.
And Delphi has been sitting on this singular blazing salvo with a Sorrow Blade for so long now. I mean, he's essentially had no acceleration in his damage since about minute 8. That's been really tough for him in these team fights, and you can see that Truth is the guy that's kind of carrying the majority of the damage, as it should be for a CP Idris in the late game. But again, I feel like if you choose to take this down the path of a CP Idris, you're essentially playing one late game carry with a couple of moving scout traps, with 2 late game carries and a peeling machine.
Right.
I know who I'd hedge my bets on.
And, even when we saw that Nova jumped in and fully engaged on the Baron, took him out of the picture, Erwin just was able to kite everyone with his Scarf positioning, the Spitfire damage he's putting out. This is the issue, Scoundrel. You kill one raid boss, but there's another one waiting for you. And you've already used up your entire health bar, your health potions, there's no regens available. That is going to be a Force Accord.
By Delphi.
Yep, dodged out there by Delphi. Nova still trying to position aggressively and find Siege and fights, but they just take so much damage. In the process, they can't consistently do so.
I love how
some
slow
sort of assassination.
I love how slow Echo Fox are taking this as well. They don't get pressured to make the engage themselves. They are fully happy to let Nova be the ones to commit. Yes, they try and make a pull here and there, but for the most part, they are trying to let Nova do the work.
He gets pulled into his death. The item silences the Finn. They're gonna go in and try and kill someone, but they can't. The Fountain comes out. They're chasing down Truth. The Chakrams go through. Truth gets denied out of his ultimate. He will do a backflip to his death, but it is an ace coming out for Echo Fox. And this will be it, Scoundrel, against Nova, the team that went all the way to the finals last week. They're going to find their first win here in the VG8. This Echo roster, a dream team that we just haven't seen in action yet in the VG8. Well, we see it here tonight. Game 1 goes their way.
Yeah, and they're going to clean up so nicely here, Dalsy. Again, it was just that classic double late game composition. It let it get too far, and again, I think I feel like if you're gonna run a composition like you're running with the Cruel and the Catherine, you want to pressure early mid-game a lot harder, which is why I would have loved to have seen the weapon out Idris. Stick to your guns. Stick to your guns, have the double assassination attempt on a key target and run away with the early game. If it gets late game, you lose anyway, right? So.